Okay, guys, so before we dig into this, if you are new here and this is your first time listening in the month of February, in honor of Black History Month, what we are doing is we're dedicating all of our true crime cases to undercovered or unsolved cases involving African Americans. So happy Black History Month to all of our listeners, and I'm going to do something a little different than I've done the past 2 weeks, and it's going to be a little less... it's still not technically unsolved, but it's a different form of true crime. And before we dig into this, I just want to give a massive trigger warning for this entire case. There is domestic and violence involved in this, so this might not be suitable for everybody to listen to. So before I get started, I want to talk about a massive issue that needs to be discussed more, and that is violence against Black women. All of this information comes from the Institute for Women's Policy Research and the NCADV. 45.1% of Black women have experienced intimate partner physical violence, intimate partner sexual violence, and or intimate partner stalking in their lifetime. 31.8% of Black women have experienced one or more of the following intimate partner violence related impacts: being fearful, concern for their safety, any post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, injury, need for medical care, housing services, victim advocate services, and or legal services, missed at least one day of work or school, and contacting a crisis hotline. 41.2% of Black women have experienced intimate partner physical violence in their lifetimes. 53.8% of Black women have experienced psychological aggression by an intimate partner in their lifetime. And an estimated 51.3% of Black adult females' homicides are related to intimate partner violence. And that is just unacceptable.
Absolutely unacceptable.
We've got to do a better job at protecting these women. And because really, though, like, there is a lot of crimes against women, but the majority of these crimes are Black women, yet you don't hear about it a lot. It's kind of hidden in the true crime world specifically, too. So the case I have for you today is the case of Shaquita Bennett. On the morning of April 5th, 2018, 31-year-old Shaquita Bennett was walking from the lobby of her building into her apartment in Chicago, Illinois. Behind her in the CCTV footage, you can see as a man who was reaching for something in his waistband follows her to her floor. And at 10:15 a.m., neighbors call 911 after hearing gunshots in the hallway.
Oh my God.
And when Chicago police arrived at the scene, they find Chiquita shot to death by 2 fatal shots to the back of her head in the hallway, less than 40 feet away from her apartment door. It didn't take long for family and friends and investigators to know exactly who this man was and what his motive was. But to better understand that, I'm going to have to give you history that dates back almost 10 years prior to her death. In June of 2013 in Chicago, Chiquita broke up with her longtime boyfriend, Deshaun Johnson, and finally got away from his mental, physical, and emotional abuse that had been dated back to 2010. This was truly going to be her hot girl summer. She was reinvesting in herself. She was working on her worth and her power, taking back everything that he had stolen from her for those many years. But unfortunately, that's just not how it works when ending a relationship with an abuser. Deshaun could not let her go. He was obsessed with her. He began stalking her, making terrifying threats, and refusing to just let her be. And it was getting out of hand quickly. So in order to protect herself, on August 19th, 2013, Chiquita filed a protection order with the courts. In this application, she goes into detail about her and Deshaun's relationship, the abuse, the stalking, the threats, and she even adds that he owns and carries multiple guns, which in a situation like this is very alarming and statistically raises the chances that she will end up dead, to be honest. So this actually helps Chiquita because once the courts see this, they're like, okay, immediately something needs to be done, because literally it was quickly escalating. They could see it, and an emergency order was granted to her. But this helped, not for long though, because soon after, Deshaun starts again down the same abusive, stalking, and threatening path, and it is escalating even worse than before. It gets to the point that Chiquita is forced to move out of her apartment and into a different side of town and she ends up having to take time off of work to do this. So literally now, like, he's taken away from her quality of life. She's having to move apartments, probably ending a lease, which is not easy. You have to buy yourself out for a ton.
Right.
And she's having to hurt her own income because she's taking time off work to do all of this, to try to get the fuck away from this dude. So she seems like she's able to escape him for just a bit, but not completely. Deshaun continues for years. He is relentless, literally sitting outside of her home, work, her family's homes, just watching her. Chiquita is terrified for her life at this point. So in 2016, after the protective order is lifted, the first one she filed, Chiquita files again for another one, detailing the harassment, stalking, and escalation, even saying, "I'm so scared for my life that I haven't been home in 4 days." Same as before, this is an emergency order that is effective immediately. And for 2 years, Deshaun is not to have any contact with her at all. But in December of 2017, just when Chiquita starts to feel safe again, he's back. This time, leaving terrifying voicemails, threatening her life and her family's lives. This time, first off, it's just escalating. Like, there's no other way to put this. It's just getting worse and worse, and he's getting more and more infatuated and obsessed with her. It's like, just because she's getting a little bit out of his reach, it's making him even more crazy, which is classic with an abuser like this. So she's obviously terrified, and this is a huge violation of the court order. So Chiquita reports him to the Chicago police, and she waits day after day for Deshaun to be arrested. But nothing happens. He is still free, still stalking her, still harassing her. She is so scared for her life, and she feels absolutely helpless, and no one is giving her the attention that she needs to make herself feel safe. This is when she is literally forced to move again. And overall, by the way, this is her third move. So this time she moves to the South Shore area of Chicago. She seems okay until January 2018, a month after the report, when Deshaun is finally arrested. He is then held on a $10,000 bond, but just a week later, that bond is cut in half and he is let out. And despite the fact that he literally was just arrested for breaking this court order, he starts doing it all over again, stalking and harassing her again, finding her new apartment, sitting outside of it, leaving threatening voicemails detailing how he was going to kill her and enjoy it, and even showing up at the pharmacy that she worked at during her shift on March 5th, 2018, just lingering around the store and watching her. So at her break at 11 a.m., she calls the police and reports this to them, saying that she wants to press charges this time because he is literally threatening her job, safety, and quality of life now. So this is just no way to live for anybody to live. This is not fair. At that point, you start getting into depressive episodes yourself because you feel like you can't escape. And first off, that would make me insane.
Yeah.
I would literally be insane. So she's constantly in fear. She's never being protected by the people she's reporting this to. But even still, when she calls the police and she reports it, they don't take it seriously. And nothing happens. Chicago police later say that the reasoning that this wasn't taken seriously or followed up on is because she never came into the station. Yet
Are you fucking kidding me?
No one told her, like, hey, like, you need to come in and file this report. They're like, okay, we're taking the report on the phone. And basically, if you're in Chicago, FYI, don't call 911. Apparently, they can't do anything for you. You're going to have to walk your ass into the station to get any sort of response from them. So Deshaun is not arrested, not even contacted, and Chiquita, even with wanting to press charges, receives no help at all from Chicago police. Finally, on March 13th, 2018, Deshaun goes to court, and he actually pleads guilty to violating the order of protection. But he is only sentenced to 5 days of time served in order to go to domestic violence counseling and 1 year of probation with no protective tracker even, though that is something that Chiquita requested specifically.
I can't even.
And the reason he pled guilty wasn't because he actually felt like he was guilty. It was because it was a plea deal given to him.
Are you kidding?
I'm not fucking kidding you, dude. I'm not fucking kidding you. So, to protect herself, Chiquita starts looking into a career change and begins researching and reaching out to people about getting her commercials driver's license. So this way she would be able to be on the road and get the fuck away from him. And she even begins looking into moving states to escape her abuser. But now it's April 5th, 2018. And Chiquita is found fatally shot to death just 40 feet away from her apartment door at 10:15 a.m. Family, friends, and investigators know immediately who had done this to her. But he had gone into hiding. It took them 15 days to track his ass down. And on April 20th, 2018, the U.S. Marshals Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force and the Fort Wayne Police Department Gang Unit found Deshaun at his brother's house in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He was hiding under the insulation in the crawl space of his brother's home.
Oh my God.
First off, you're so itchy. I know you're so itchy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that for anything. I would just be like, arrest me at that point, because now you're in for the worst. He's officially arrested and he's booked at the Allen County Jail to await trial. Over the years, Chiquita's family has filed I lied to you. Over the years, it's been counted up that 10 police reports were filed by Chiquita against Deshaun for his abuse, stalking, and harassment.
10.
Yet nothing ever happened. And to this day, Deshaun is still awaiting trial, and Chiquita's family is suing the Chicago police. However, there has been no movement in this case to this day. This happened in 2018, and he's still awaiting trial, and the family has had no movement in their case. And that's the case.
You know, there has got to be a fucking change on domestic abuse laws, and where there should never be we have to wait this many times. It's one is enough is enough.
One is enough is enough. That. We're over here preaching to people just call 911. We're going to be... Right. No, you're not.
They will protect you.
How are you going to protect these domestic violence? I mean, yeah, we have the hotlines that have made up for that, but that's not enough. Someone needs to be able to go in and grab these people, pull them out of these situations, and protect them. They can't just be like, okay, just move. Or, hey, just file this. You're not doing anything to protect me. They can show up. And 10 out of 10 times... Not even 10 out of 10. Let's say, 7 out of 10 times, men can be victims of domestic violence. However, the majority of the time it is women. And who protects women?
No one.
Literally no one. It's us fending for each other and fending for ourselves. And you've created this culture that turns women against each other because we're all seen as competition.
Right. And then women, you have also portrayed women through all sorts of, not just media, but in general in life, that if a man is abusing them, it's the woman's fault.
Yes.
They're acting up. They're in the wrong. They deserve it. And that's what's so fucked up.
It's so fucked up. And it's almost oh no, he's just asserting his dominance. No, my husband will never talk to me in any way because I will walk out that fucking door. But here's the deal. That's because I've been taught that not everybody has that luxury. And a lot of people, depending on what type of household you were raised in, I don't want to be coming for any religion or anything, but that plays a big role in it. Right. A lot of religious households say that, the men are the head of the house and that the women are the servant. And that's not fair.
Right.
That's not fucking fair. Even if that is a part of your religion, what's not clicking?
Right.
Why is that? Why are we to be abused?
And there's so many situations where women just can't walk out the door.
No, they can't.
They can't because they have arms around their throat
and
hands around their throat.
And then you have kids you have to think about. That, maybe the kids don't know what's going on, or maybe he's going to harm your kids. it's a lose-lose situation. And sometimes family and friends, especially if you grew up in these like super men dominance household. I don't even want to say religious because I don't want to put that on all religions, but like male dominant households, like that's how your family was. You can't leave because your family's going to turn on you. And that's just not fair. That's not fair. And this is not even to mention how common this is within the African American women community.
Right.
That they can't get the resources that they need to help them. And it's just not fair. And I could do an entire year of stories of domestic violence cases. And I don't want to. It puts us all in a bad place. That's not what I want to do, but it has to be talked about.
Right.
And if you guys need help.
And the fact this motherfucker is still awaiting trial.
What are you waiting for?
What is there to wait for?
We have it on CCTV footage. He had the gun. He was hiding in the fucking crawl space. There are 10 different reports on him. I don't get it. What are we waiting for? So that's the case. If you guys are if any of you guys or anyone you know are victims of domestic violence, I'm going to be leaving resources for you in our show notes. And if you feel like you can't reach out for whatever reason, maybe your abuser is tracking your calls and all that stuff, find a safe space for you. Act like you're going to the gym. Act like you're doing something. Go there and ask for help. Learn the hand movements that say that you need help and you're in danger. You can do that at restaurants. You can do that at bars. You can do that in public places. And hopefully someone will be able to see that you need help.
We should have a special phrase that you're welcome to DM us.
Oh, we should. We should. What is it? What is it going to be? It can't be Team Crime or Team Creep. I was going to say that. We're going to put it in our show notes because we don't need to say it over here.
Yeah.
We're going to put it in our show notes.
We'll hashtag it at the bottom of our show notes.
Mm-hmm. Right beside the resources for you. And that's what you send us. And if you do that, if you send that to us, we will send it to either local police or something like that. So don't joke around. Like this, I'm not fucking.
Yeah, like we will immediately go to the police for you.
We will report this to a domestic violence hotline. We will let people know that you are in danger. So if you send this to us, know that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Happy Black History Month.
Please reach out if you, seriously, like please reach out. I know we're just two 20-something-year-old girls that just talk on a mic, but we want to be a resource for you in the best way that we possibly could. And we do reach out to a lot of different areas in the United States. So,
and all over the world even. So if you are in danger, there's going to be resources that'll be better fit for you at the bottom. But if you can't get a hold of them and maybe they're blocked from your devices,
or you don't want it to be tracked, like just DM us
or like comment on something of ours. Just put the hashtag and we will reach out, not to you, but we will send someone your way. We will figure out a way to do this because this is just out of hand.
And laws need to be changed.
And like not even to mention 2020 when we were literally locking people up for months at a time with their abusers.
Right.
And there's no way you can get out of that situation, you know? All right, guys. We love you guys so much. And there was a massive spike, by the way, a 15% spike in domestic violence calls to hotlines during 2020's lockdown.
I believe that.
We will talk to you next week on Thursday.
Okay. Bye.